Miss Martin Muses and another night of pub crawl. And tonight we have none other than the man himself, Ryan KINEL, RK Outpost.
Now, I have a little bone to pick with you already off the bat. I was under the impression that I was going to be getting alcohol, like just served right here at my desk. That's the impression I had when I heard about a pub crawl. So I'm really curious as to where that is right now.
Oh, well, here, let me get a DoorDash. I always tell people on my behalf, have have an extra dry Bombay Sapphire martini with a lime twist on my behalf.
An extra dry Bombay Sapphire martini with a lime twist. I will have to try that at some point. Probably, I don't think I have extra dry Bombay Sapphire right now. I have aviation gin. That's what I've got with me in my bar right now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. You can mix that with tonic. Well, actually, technically, extra dry means without the vermouth, like extra dry or Bombay Sapphire martini, and have it stirred, not shaken. Only wusses have their martini shaken.
The first drink I ever had in my entire life was a dry vodka martini, shaken, not stirred, like James Bond.
Aww.
And it tasted like rubbing alcohol. Because that was my first drink ever. I thought I was going to be really cool. Thought I was going to be a badass like James Bond, and yeah, it didn't like stop me from drinking. But I was like, yeah, I don't know why anyone would drink that. And now that I'm a little bit older, and I understand why people would drink it.
Oh yeah, there's a certain elegance to it and all that. But yeah, I'll owe you one. I'll owe you a drink one day. You and me, I'll buy you a drink.
I'm gonna take you up on that.
Okay, let's do it.
Happen.
Yes, one of these days. Well, look who it is. Thank you. It is Biggles met with a super chat for $5. Thank you, Biggles. He says, let's go. Well, yes, let's go indeed. Thank you, Biggles, as always, for the super chat and for your support of this channel. And you get a Yay.
Thanks, Biggles.
Oh, speaking of which, ask and ye shall receive another super chat for $10 for Ryan's drink. Well, $10 should cover it. Yeah, you can get yourself a nice bottle of that and a tonic. Well, thank you once again, Biggles. And we have Psychotic Mongoose. Hello, chat. We have Steve Kenobi. Hi there, Teresa and Ryan. I hope you both are having a splendid day. Well,
hey, what's up, Steve? Good to see you, buddy.
Yep. We have Gravy D. We've got loads of people. Keck. We got Zax, we have Cannoli Sasquatch, Namon's the YouTuber, the man. Everyone's saying hello to each other. We like people saying hello to each other at Miss Martin Muses here. And we also love our animals. No animals have shown up yet, but we will hopefully have them. I have polar bears, I have cats, I have all sorts of people that watch my channel. But Ryan hasn't earned a drink, not so he apologized for his privilege. Oh, how dare you, sir? What's your privilege?
Well, Blue-Eyed Scorpio is actually having a problem right now with his YouTube channel because he's like has disappearing views or something like that. I told him the reason that he's probably having his YouTube channel punished is because he is a gay black woman. That's my guess as to why it's happening, and because I have white privilege, it's not happening to me, and he still hasn't got over that yet. It's either the privilege part, that's why they're punishing Blue-Eyed Scorpio, or he's just that bad of a creator that YouTube is taking away any views because they don't think he's earned them. One or the other.
Well, that's something to boost your self-esteem there. Okay, we
go check out Blue-Eyed Scorpio. I would highly recommend his channel if he actually responded to me when I was ever in the chat, but since he doesn't, I will just slightly recommend the channel.
Okay, so you got a slight recommendation from Ryan KINEL. Oh, Steve has some advice. Or a promise. Buy Ryan a $10 drink and you'll get laid.
Wow. I would say that it depends what you look like, right? The number, the dollar amount and the amount of drinks goes up, as you slide down the scale. So for anybody who's looking to buy me a drink like that, just keep that in mind. I do have a price for everyone, but you just got to get there.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Well, and we could be technical. He doesn't say that we'll get laid with you, so maybe you'll just get laid with someone else.
True. That's also a possibility. Yes.
Ryan will bring the good luck to you.
Maybe.
Yay, $20. Sorry. Yes. Well, Ryan, well, we obviously know that you've been up to some things lately. We got to know each other back in the day, back when your channel was just a little baby channel, wasn't even at 1,000, and we were part of an EU book club together and all sorts of other good stuff. So I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to share, like a part of your journey or things that are of particular interest to you right now. I'm just going to hand over that mic, and hopefully the drink will get there eventually to you.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We were catching up a little bit before the show, and it's been 4.5 years, I think, now since I started my YouTube channel. This year in
Mhm.
August, it'll be 5 years on YouTube, which is pretty wild. And yeah, we met really quick. We did that EU book club for a while, which was very fun. Got to read and talk about a lot of great books, which is like that's the first video I did on the channel was like talking about EU stuff or whatever. But
Mhm.
things have definitely changed in 4.5 years in terms of this is like I was in the Navy when we started this thing or when I started the channel. I
Uh-huh.
wasn't telling anybody publicly I was in the Navy. Um, but I was still, in the military, and then I transitioned out of the military, had a decision to make whether I wanted to make YouTube my full-time job or not.
Mhm.
And man, now now it is. And
Mhm.
it's just crazy. I'm very thankful for how everything's gone. Not necessarily some of our franchises, as some of our franchises have as some of our franchises have fallen, my channel's kind of risen. So I don't know if that's a good trade-off for everybody or not, but been doing my best to grind and cover entertainment, pop culture, Star Wars, whatever it may be.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the people in the chat, of course, everyone's just saying hi and everything and loving everybody. They probably are familiar, but maybe some people are not familiar with your channel. So please, everyone, if you have not, go ahead and subscribe to him. Yeah, those were really good days. Yeah, Steve says I was one of your first guests back in the day. Yes, on every weekend. Yeah, I
That's
remember.
right. Stieg was on really often, especially when we were talking a lot of stuff that was going on with Star Wars and everything like that. Because Stieg's one of my guys who loves the EU, loves Star Wars before Disney came in and destroyed it, before Dave Filoni came in and destroyed it.
Hmm.
So shout
Yep.
out to Stieg. That's
Yeah.
that's right. Yes, I have been listen OG Filoni hate since 2008. Okay, I have hated Dave Filoni for a very long time before I started a YouTube channel. And it's funny that when I used to crap all over Dave Filoni, I used to get a lot of pushback from people. I don't get as much pushback anymore. There's
Mhm.
more people that are starting to see the error of their ways, at least I think.
Yeah, vindicated. Well, I do recall now, I was fooled a little bit by Dave Filoni, but I because I wasn't aware of a lot of things, and I was a casual viewer of the Clone Wars, seeing it mostly through the eyes of my nieces and my nephews who, being little kids. But once it you and, the gang from the EU club kinda showed me some things, I was like, "Oh my gosh, why does anyone like this loser?"
Well, to like what I always say is you only have like the experiences that you have, right? So
Mhm,
if you say you didn't even really care about a lot of the maybe Clone Wars era or Mandalorian stuff that was done in the expanded universe, you're probably not going to have too much care when somebody comes in and undoes a bunch of that stuff, right? You're
mhm,
probably not going to have too much care that someone departs from something that you didn't even know about to begin with or really have any care for. So I don't really expect everyone to have the same type of feeling about TCW as I do. I think it has writing, I think it has writing problems and story problems standalone from the lore changes. But I think over time, as Dave Filoni has now encroached his way into other parts of Star Wars, people are starting to see the lack of care that he has for anyone else's story, including George Lucas's, rather than his own.
mhm. Oh, absolutely. And how can anyone backstab George Lucas? That takes a lot of nerve, the bad kind.
Well, a lot of that's one thing too. I'm like when people like Dave Filoni was George's right hand man. It's like, okay, you know who George Lucas handed his company over to? Kathleen Kennedy. Are you going to say that because George Lucas handed his company over to Kathleen Kennedy that that should automatically mean that everything she says goes? I don't think most people will make that argument. So I think that's a silly one when people like talk about that with Filoni too. When they try to just say, well, he knows what George would have wanted, blah blah blah. Come on, you don't make that same excuse when it comes to the Kathleen Kennedy.
That's a very good point. You're exactly right. We've got it on video, him saying about Kathy's just so great and all of that. Yes. My gosh. And it wasn't just well, no, he was the one that screwed over Kathy was it Kathy Tyers? The one who did the Mandalorian books, I think you mentioned that. That
Yeah,
just
yeah. The Republic Commando era books, like those things. Yeah, she just said, I'm gone. I'm done."
yeah.
Karen Travis.
Here in Travis, that's the one. Maybe yes, I was thinking of somebody else. And oh yeah, he Dave Filoni literally ruined cowboy hats. I had to throw mine out. Yes. What an idiot. Why is he sitting around wearing a stupid cowboy hat? Like, crying out loud.
Listen, he likes the cowboy lifestyle. He likes the cowboy. I heard he really likes animals. That's the rumor that's out there.
Yeah,
So
yeah that's where
his poor dog.
oh, yeah, it's poor dog. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Furloney. Everyone's saying it. Yeah, cause Travis to crit. Yes. Yeah. He's no cowboy. Well, if he is, he's the kind of cowboy like that likes his animals and likes well, the Brokeback Mountain kind of cowboy. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
That is true. I could buy that. I could buy Dave Filoni as a Brokeback Mountain cowboy.
yeah.
I find that very believable.
And of course, how he just makes Ahsoka his blow up doll. That's what I call her. The way he acts, it's like everything's
Oh,
so
yes. And that I think has been the thing for a lot of people. I've hated Ahsoka since her introduction. Um, I don't think that Anakin should have had a Padawan. I think that was a poor decision. I understand what you're trying to market it to, maybe trying to soften the image of these characters, whatever. But for me, in that era, I don't think that they would have trusted Anakin with the Padawan. It
no.
doesn't make any sense to me for his character, and especially not 6 weeks after Geonosis, I don't think he would have gotten a Padawan. With all that being said, if your goal with that story, even though I don't agree with it, if your goal for that story is to show, hey, look, this is another reason why Anakin really was like resentful and distrustful of the Jedi, because at the end of season 5, I think is what it was, Ahsoka gets framed. The Jedi want to punish her for it, like all these things. And then they just try to sweep it under the rug. Ahsoka walks away from the Jedi. And you want that to become like, oh, this is another stepping stone as to why Anakin was distrustful of the Jedi and why he was susceptible to some of the things that Palpatine was whispering in his ear. I can kind of buy that, right? If that's your end goal. But if you just keep her alive and now all of a sudden she's like the centerpiece of Star Wars, she knows all these people, she survived all the way through, she was instrumental in the rebellion. Now she's doing stuff with Mando, and now she goes to another galaxy to face Thrawn. All these things, that was never the intention of the character, and she's vastly outlived where she should have died.
Y- I agree. She should have died off stage during the Order 66 era. That would have been the perfect way for her to have go. I agree with all of that what you said, and they made her like the chosen one almost. Like she's more important than Luke's friggin' Skywalker.
Well, I mean, considering that Anakin appears to her, Anakin's pulling her in the world between worlds now. Force Ghost Anakin is appearing to her in a galaxy far, far away. You'd think that he could take some of that, energy and appear to his son and maybe warn his son about the Emperor's secret Exegol facility, about the Wayfinder, about all these things that are going to come into play later on in Disney's version of the Skywalker saga.
Because somehow that all happened.
Yeah, and now they're still trying to explain that away. The newest animated show, Bad Batch, is like what it's all about.
Oh, for
So
crying out loud. Well, yeah, that's just really sad where Star Wars is, but I finally have been able to reach a point where I can completely separate the new one. It is so different and so ridiculous at this point that I really have it in my head. That EU's story, it ended great with, you know, Jaina Solo and all of that, and it's too bad we never got her trilogy, which was supposed to be coming, and just screw the rest. I just, don't even pay attention to it, not even really so much to hate on it, but I do hear from people like you and others or other YouTubers what's been going on, and it's just absurd.
yeah, it is tough. The entire I think what we've seen, the storytelling out of Disney Star Wars. I think there was a time in the Mandalorian season 2 era where people were, whether it was the appearance of Luke Skywalker and people getting excited over that, and maybe just really getting their nostalgia heartstrings pulled and not paying attention to some of the problems with the storytelling, whatever it may be. I think there was a time, Mandalorian season 2 time frame, where people would have been willing to like come back and give it a chance. But now, after people have kind of realized that was all a lot of artificial hype, after Obi-Wan Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, Mando season 3, Ahsoka, I think it's probably at a lower point than we've ever seen it right now, honestly.
Yeah, I don't even know why they're even bothering. It's just laughable at this point. And then, of course, they butchered Willow. So,
And that's not something that I really care about that much. Like I liked Willow fine. I think that came out like the year I was born, to be honest. So I watched it at some point in the mid 90s. I was never like in love with it. I didn't even know like Lucasfilm had really anything to do with it at that point. It was just a movie.
mhm,
Um and it was whatever, but I certainly wasn't attached to it at all. So it didn't like destroy me the way it destroyed some people that are massive fans of that movie.
yeah. Oh, it came out when I was in middle school, and I remember seeing it with my friends. I saw it twice in the cinema, which back then was
Wow.
kind of a bit of a big deal. And I saved up money to get one of those little fanzines that this is long before the internet, where we would have to send away and put like $2 in an envelope and get the fanzine back. It was some fun times, but the second I heard I saw the trailer and heard some vibes, I think it was from either Friday Night Tights or it was on Nerdrotics or one of those channels where they had seen a presser, one of them had, and I was just like, "Okay, no, it's exactly what we thought." And sure enough, you know, I it's really bad when even Disney takes down a TV show from their website.
Yeah, when they're like, we made this exclusively for Disney Plus, but we'd rather take a little tax write down on it,
Yeah.
like after it being up for a couple months, which
Mhm.
is fucking why, or sorry. I told her I was gonna try not to swear too much on the show today. But that's just crazy to me.
Yeah. When I've told him it's okay, because everyone's gonna tattletale on me about the times they've heard me drop some F bombs, but especially when I'm at work.
Usually you're very well behaved when it comes to language. So I'm trying to keep your channel out of trouble.
Aw, well, thank you.
Attempting.
You've never you've never heard when I've rolled a 1. I'll tell you, that's usually the time where I just lose my crap, especially when it's during a battle, and I'm notorious for friendly fire, and I'm always afraid I'm gonna kill one of my
Oh
people.
no, you're like, well, I know that person's engaged, but I'm gonna take a shot. You got all right. Well,
Exactly.
you got to roll at least an 8. Oh, I'm sure that'll be fine. 2. Uh-oh. Sorry. I just shot my friend in the head.
Yeah, well, I shot Lady Gravemaster last Sunday, and I think it was in the ribs, and so she was starting to bleed to death. It was bad.
Well,
I
she
felt,
kind of deserves it.
"Oh, no, she doesn't. Everyone loves Lady Gravemaster."
No, she's mean to me sometimes.
Oh, okay. Well, then there we go. Well, she's scary. She's a teacher. We're all teachers. So Steve plays with a bunch of teachers. He says George Lucas wrote a trilogy of Willow books as a sequel to the movie, and Disney ignored it. Mm,
Hmm.
yeah. Though those weren't exactly the best either, but at least they were there. Yeah, see, look, I told you people are starting to tell on me. People are trying to tell on me. Well, hello, everyone coming in. Yeah, and I do see you all here, and thank you for watching with us today. Please like, share, subscribe early and often, and especially to Ryan KINEL. He's coming up on 300,000, or did you reach it? I forget which one it was.
I'm at 295 or something. So I'm probably in the next, month or two, hopefully, and if things go well, I might hit 300K. So that would be crazy. It'd be
Mhm.
insane.
Oh, yeah. So please help him out. I mean, that's just amazing. Just seeing your growth, and it's well deserved. And I've told you before, and you always get embarrassed when I start to compliment you. So I'll
Yeah.
be careful. But you're one of those that you haven't changed. You are still the same cool person you were. I mean, sometimes when people blow up, and I'm not pointing anyone specifically maybe out within our circles, but, they become assholes. Well, but, you're just sweet. You've always just been a sweetheart. And wait, I'm not supposed to call you a sweetheart though, am I?
You're
Is
not
that
supposed to let the internet know that. You're supposed to keep that under wraps.
okay?
But
Yeah, but you know what I mean. You've just been awesome, and you've always really good to everybody. And there's people out there going, "She's a lying bitch." And it's like, well, no, I mean,
like, so the thing for me, I would say that it took me a little while to get the hang of YouTube in terms of like my presentation and like how to make a video and get comfortable in front of the camera and things like that.
mhm,
But in terms of my opinions and my thoughts and how I feel and how I interact with people, that really hasn't changed because that's how I interact when the camera's off. You know what I mean? That's
mhm,
how I interact
yeah,
with people when I go to Target. That's how I interact with people like wherever. It's just me. So if you're and this has kind of come up too a little bit with the whole I don't know if you saw Hassan Piker said that streaming is like way tougher of a job or more soul sucking than like a 9 to 5 job, something like that.
yeah,
And that started a big conversation about streaming and content creation things. My whole view on that is if you're pretending to be someone, like
mhm,
if you're pretending to be someone you're not, then that can be like soul sucking, you know?
yes,
Like, but it's not. That's just because you're fake, because you're being fake, and that's why when people get burnt out of YouTube or whatever it is, obviously everyone's gonna have a rough day or whatever, and regardless of whatever happened to you that day or whatever might be going on in your personal life, you kind of gotta for a couple hours or whatever, you gotta suck it up. You gotta go to work. You gotta turn on the camera, whatever. Right? That happens in
mhm,
everyday life, but consistently pretending to be someone you're not, that it's not sustainable. Like people can't do that. So
mhm.
if there's anybody that they are, if it's a streamer that does feel like their job's like soul sucking to them or soul destroying, it's probably because they're being super fake.
Darn right. Mhm. Yeah, I just love what you said about you behave the same way at Target. I'm trying to imagine you someone's minding their own business. And but probably if you go off on someone, they probably deserve it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen. I'm not just gonna. Well, I would say I wouldn't just go off on a random person, but I would, in the right circumstance.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I am just brutally honest all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe that's a
Now,
better word for it. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, yeah, and if you see someone being bad, especially I find as I get older, I quit being less nice. It's I can't stand when I see people being bullied too, especially, and when people are like treating the workers like crap. I'm like, what kind of a jerk are you?
Well, everybody gets like every person you encounter gets a certain level of, hey, I'm going to treat you with respect, until you give me a reason not to, effectively. That's
Yeah,
how I kind of like go through life. You know what I mean? Like,
that's
I'm not
yeah,
going to just, treat somebody like shit because I'm walking next to them for no reason. Now, if they do something or if they are an ass to me or if they don't care about the fact that they just fucked up their job or something, you know what? I will probably disrespect you then. Yeah,
yeah,
that's I don't have a very much patience for something like that. Or if you cut me off in traffic, or if you mess up my order, things like that.
mhm.
I will go off pretty quickly.
I was gonna say cutting off in traffic. That's where my demon comes out.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Like, if
for
someone
one,
cuts me off in traffic, I literally want them to get in an accident and, like, be their lives over, like, just for delaying me 30 seconds. That's how angry I get in traffic.
yeah. Well,
But I
one
think
of
that's
my favorite.
normal.
Yeah, yes. Oh, I yell, I scream, I do all of those sort of things, and I my favorite thing is that when I see some a-hole do that or speeding by me or something, and then they're pulled over by a cop later, and I'm like, "Yes, dick, you had it coming." But, yeah, that's one of the things that gets me rage. Another thing that I think I've really cursed about has been the Rings of Power. Do you follow all that? I didn't know if you were with your Lord of the Rings and just what they Amazon
I
just totally went off the rails.
I mean, I followed the 1st season, which is we're coming up on 2 years. Whoops, we're coming up on 2 years since that
Mhm.
came out at this point, which is kinda crazy. I think it was almost that long ago. I
Mhm.
don't know if this 3rd season's actually gonna be out, by the end of the year or not. Um,
Yeah, or rather the 2nd season,
or
'cause well,
sorry,
I've
2nd
heard
season, yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're saying they're starting the 3rd season, and we're like, "Dude, you all haven't even updated your Twitter or X lately," and it sounds like and there's rumors that they're doing reshoots and
And there's also apparently, like, some big fan site got busted with, like, a bunch of fake rumors or something from them. So, I the things I've heard have not been good.
yeah,
I heard that they were shooting to have another Super Bowl trailer, and if there wasn't a Super Bowl trailer, then it probably meant that they were, that there was questions about whether it would actually come out this year or not. We didn't get a
mhm.
Super Bowl trailer, we haven't seen anything. So, if we do get it, it'll probably be late, like November, December when it starts to come out. I definitely don't think they wanna go up against House of the Dragon again because they
No.
got absolutely destroyed. House of the Dragon sounds like that's coming out in June. David Zaslav confirmed next quarter, which would be April, May, June, and we've already heard that it would be summer, so that has to be June, at least as far
Oh,
as I'm
okay.
concerned.
Yeah, that sounds right. I didn't realize that. I was thinking it would be, like, August, but no, June's good. And House of the Dragon, I found it entertaining. I liked it better than some of the other new things, but it was above average, but that was still able to kick everyone's ass because I think we so much entertainment sucks right now, especially fantasy.
I thought House of the Dragon was really, really good.
Mhm,
Um, I don't think it was I don't think it was necessarily with 1 season under its belt and so many characters to introduce. I don't think it was like peak Game of Thrones, when Game of Thrones was
mhm,
airing, like those first couple seasons. I don't think it was that, but I think it was way closer than I expected, and I think it has the potential to be that with another good season.
mhm.
Um, and I think one of the big differences with this story is that it's actually a completed story. It's not as long either, obviously. It's like 40 pages in the middle of a Wikipedia history of Westeros,
Yeah,
but it's a completed story. So all
yeah,
the stuff is there. They know exactly where they're going. That you're not going to have what happened in Game of Thrones, which they run out of, well, not necessarily run out of all the source material they use, but the stuff that they wanted to use. And then they're forced to create their own things. And that did not go well for Dan and Dave at all. I think it's been a lot different with House of the Dragon.
yeah. And I know what you mean. My main problem with it is there was a few key moments that they added that was not in the books. Again, if when you steer from the source material, it will be messed up. Like they kept trying to make points about women and my body, my choice kind of stuff, and it really didn't fit. And the silly part where that one woman princess just burst through the dragon pit out of nowhere and then just flew away without doing anything. It's moments like that brought down my score. But if they stick to what I'm hoping this next season is from the trailer we saw just a whole bunch of badass battles and intrigue and a very, very disturbing
The
death.
first episode is going to be crazy.
Yes.
Like that's Blood and Cheese is going to be in the first episode.
Yes. I was about okay, you
Um,
said okay, blood and cheese. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The disturbing death. Yes.
yeah, 100%. And you know, the I think that I totally agree with Rhaenys coming through the dragon pit. That was probably, I think, the biggest mistake they made of the entire season was
Mhm.
doing that, and I think it was just to add some shock. When I think he could have done a lot of other things to do that. I don't think he needed to do that because that was it was so dumb for her to then make
Yeah.
that decision to not end everything right there. They wanted some dramatic scene. I think that was a big mistake. But in terms of some of the other things, one of the interesting things about Fire and Blood, the book, is that it's a history of Westeros, right? It's a Cliff Notes version of a history of Westeros, but specifically this version of the tale is cobbled together with 3 different unreliable narrators who all have their different opinions on what happened and their own reasons to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so even that in and of itself isn't really like the true telling, right? It's just kind of the history's best guess of what the true telling is, which
Mhm.
is what does give them a little freedom to kind of make some surprises. Oh, it happened like this. Oh, it happened like that. And we finally got to see exactly what happened with um, with Vagar at the end, that final episode. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to what they do with season 2. I really enjoyed season 1. I would probably give that, if I was like to put a number on the series as a whole, it'd probably be like an 8 or something out of
Mm.
10. You know what I mean? I really, really liked it. And I think the second season, now that they've put all these chess pieces out in play, there's going to be a
Mhm.
lot more action in the second season. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yes. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry, I got a little bit distracted. It is none other than the Geek Blend, and
Hey,
oh,
what's up, buddy?
oh dear God, $49.99. Thank you, dude. That's really moving to me. Just popping in to say hi to both of you, you amazing people. Well, thank you. You're an amazing person, and I miss you. Stay tuned. We need to get together. We need to work something out because those were some really good times. Speaking of the old gang, and for that super sticker, you definitely get one heck. Thank you very much for that. You got two roses. I boomered it. And everyone's excited to see him, and everyone's telling me to subscribe to me. Well, thank you. Yes. I thought that, for example, Damon, oh, I mean, he was so badass. And that third episode wasn't that the one where he just goes like berserker on that
Yeah.
island?
Yeah,
I
that was the one at the Stepstones, yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, it really was good, and like I said, you said an 8. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, but there's no reason why the second one won't be a 10 out of 10. And hopefully, again, they'll just throw out. Okay, we already get it. Women, it sucked to be a woman back then. Okay, fine. Yes, we know,
Well,
but
here's the thing that I look at with that. This is literally a story about two, right, women that are kind of seizing power, right? When you look at
Mhm.
the Greens and you look at the Blacks. This is not a story that's going to end well when the women seize power. This is a story that's going to end in disaster, in war, in tragedy, and the people completely rejecting both sides. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And so for all the people that are cheering on Rhaenyra Targaryen, they think that you're gonna get some story about like female empowerment, how great it's gonna be. You're gonna be in for a rude awakening
Oh.
because you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. It's like this is what happens. You get a bunch of menstruating women in charge of the throne. It's like,
Yeah, and that's what we're getting. We're getting this kind of proxy war between Allison and Rhaenyra. And they're about to find out that all this power, all this responsibility might not be as easy to wield as they thought it was. Maybe they want to stick to the bedroom.
yeah,
That's what they're
exactly.
about to find out.
Well, I always say the biggest mistake that King Viserys made was making her the heir no matter what. It's like, dude, primogenitor, it was a thing. It hasn't changed. It changed in 2013, okay? That's how long it took us in the real world, all right? And it's still a little bit iffy. But then he went and had more kids. It's like, you dumbass. Of course there was gonna be a civil war or a question of the throne of who was gonna rule. There was a reason why it was the male line. So, I don't.
And I mean, that's a character that they made a lot of changes with was Viserys. And I think those were done really well. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
dude.
they fleshed him out so well, and they make him at one point like he is the reason why so much of this has happened because he
Mhm.
is, by their type of standards, a kind of weak leader who's like unwilling to get in conflict, who wants everything to be happy, who wants no one to be fighting, but at the end of the day, his inability to be tough when he really had to be is kind of what led to the downfall of this entire, line.
Mhm.
And so you feel so much compassion and sympathy for him, at the same time recognizing that so much of it's because he's failed.
Precisely. And I say this as a teacher. You got to make the tough decisions with those 5-year-olds, by golly. And it's the same way. If you're the king, it's the same thing. Suck it up, and do the right thing. And female drivers driving dragons, says Steve. Well, there you go.
Might as well give him pickup trucks.
Oh dear. Ban all women would want that. Oh yeah. Well, I guess you're right. I feel a little bit better. And so all of them sitting there trying to say they're making some sort of Roe versus Wade comment. It's like, so are you saying that that's also retardando as well? I don't know because I
Mm.
thought it was a really them trying to make an analogy with all of that was just it just really truly annoyed me. But well, and not only did Viserys's mistaken love for his daughter do all that, it also brought the end of the dragons. I mean, the dragons, they all got smaller and they all, they all died out. I mean, dude,
Yeah,
just
and I think that's I think that most people, most fans of Song of Ice and Fire are pretty resigned to the fact that that story is never actually gonna be completed by George at this point.
yeah.
Um, and through this show and potentially Aegon's Conquest show that's in development and whatever, we might actually get some answers to questions that, we've theorized or had for a long time in terms of, what happened to the dragons, like a lot of stuff like that. We got Aegon's prophecy, in the first episode of this. Um, so it is what it is. I don't think George is ever going to finish those books, even if there was no other movie or no other TV shows in production. I think it's a him problem. I think he's got writer's block or he's too scared to actually finish it. So I think he feels like his legacy is safer without finishing Winds of Winter and Dream of Spring than it is actually getting it done.
Yeah.
But at
Well,
this point, like everybody thinks that the storyline we got will be so much better, right? When we see it in Winds and we see it in Dream of Spring. So there's a lot of expectations on George to finish it the right way. And I
mm,
feel like it's put so much pressure on him that he would rather just not complete it so that there can always be that mythical, well, if he would have finished it, it would have been good, but we'll never know. I actually think that's why he is unwilling to complete it, which is sad.
yeah, it is. And the what you told me about, maybe that's why they're adding some of that material in the House of the Dragon. I hope that's the case. So like the prophecy, for example, but they also have things in the House of the Dragon that ties into the TV show, like with leading up with Arya flying through the air like Superman with that dagger that they've been showing. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I think what I think is that most of what we saw in terms of the big play-by-play stuff that happened in Game of Thrones' final couple seasons, I actually think that's probably was his plan,
mhm.
right? 100% King Bran, 100% Mad Queen Daenerys, 100 like all this stuff. And I think he saw the reaction to it, and now he's trying to figure out if he can change all these things or not,
Yeah.
or if with setup, people will be more accepting of those things. So I think that's where he's at, and I think he's scared.
Oh, that makes complete sense. Where I could forgive him is if he actually has finished it and he's waiting for it to be published after his death. I could deal with that because he's like, okay, I can't deal with the reaction, so I'm just going to wait till I croak and then it'll be released. And that he's just been messing with us
That'd
on
be
his blog.
crazy. That would be
Yeah.
wild if, like, the day after George R.R. Martin passes away, which if that was the case and we didn't get the books until he died, he'd probably live another 40 years. Um, like, that's just how those things work. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be awesome though, because at least we get the books. Because 'cause I'm that petty. I have no sympathy for him right now because like I said, I think he doesn't have to be such a jerk about everything. I think, that's when I turned on him. It wasn't so much that he wasn't finishing the books. It's like, you have to keep being so snarky, and in that recent blog post where he was
Like,
ranting
with
and
all the things going on in the world, I just couldn't find the will to write anymore this year. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, just like stop bitching about all these global things that are going on and just write your damn book or just tell us it's not happening. One or the other. Just stop trying to pretend like you're actually working on it.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, what a big whiny like, I wouldn't put up with that from my kids, I mean, you're a grown ass man, get over it. Um, but, in any case, the it's still such a meme how bad that TV show was, the ending rather, because it was so perfect, the first 4 seasons, and for me, it started to get weird 5th, but I had read the books, and I learned later that it was 5th season where they started to part, and then it just imploded. It was such a beautiful disaster.
So the first 4 seasons are awesome. The 5th one is like the 5th one is where it starts to feel a little weird.
Mhm,
The 6th one goes between cool episode and what the hell are we doing? The
mhm.
7th season is like mostly a pile of shit, but it's kind of all these chess pieces getting into play for the final season. It's a big setup, but the Westeros Express, like their teleportation system really played a big part in season 7. And then
Yes,
season 8 was just a horrific nightmare.
yeah. I saw someone say what Gendry turned into the Flash because he was able to
Yeah. Well, not
it's
only was he able to run, like he was able to run back to the wall. They were able to send a raven all the way. Was she on Dragonstone at the time?
I think so.
So if she's on Dragonstone, you're talking about sending a raven about like half a continent down or more to get to Daenerys, to then for her to hop on Dragonback and fly all the way up there north of the wall. So it's like impossible. It felt like a couple hours, right, that they were sitting there on that rock. I
Yeah.
feel like that was the implication that you're talking about maybe hours, maybe 12 hours if you want to like be very positive about it. Not over a week, certainly.
Yeah.
Not 2 weeks or however long it actually would have taken.
Yes. And and they would have been attacked long before then, and they would have frozen to death, and because they were wasn't it John? Wasn't he also in the water too? And I mean,
He
it's
fell in
like
the water at the end, and they had the fake out death. And he climbs back up because for like no reason whatsoever, he just decided instead of getting on the dragon to like walk back towards the horde of whites, and just because he had to fight
oh,
for like
yeah.
no apparent reason.
You're right, because he was safe, and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna be safe." Maybe
Yeah.
he was trying to kill himself. Maybe he was losing the will to live. I don't know, but, you're right. It was just so ridiculous, and there's been lots of money comments in there in the comments, someone said about my TV brightness was not up enough, said a Soul Assassin, and Steve's talking Benjen said the walkers couldn't cross the wall due to magic in the foundation. Then they break over the wall. Yeah. Not to mention the weird aunt nephew sex at the end of season 7. That was pretty.
I mean, that's a Targaryen thing, whatever.
Yeah, that's true because they do sisters, uncles, nephews.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
what's a little aunt nephew like bang session between Targaryens? That's nothing.
yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, there's a Soul Assassin's comment, but that's the other thing, the whole blood and cheese, the characters involved, that's like the oldest brother with the younger sisters. They're kids, so it's like their nephews and their children, and then for Viserys, that would be Viserys's grandchildren and grandnieces, and Alicent is like the mother-in-law and the mother to them, or I I just can't even keep track of it. Yeah. Stieg, belongs
Oh,
to the
Steeg
sorry.
is in that camp. I mean,
Yeah, Shara Jane.
uh, I here's the thing: the reason Dan and Dave got the job is because they were able to answer that question, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the reason they got the job in the first place because they were able to answer the question: who is Jon Snow's parents? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I I I think that he is. I think that he's Rhaegar Leonis.
Yeah. Though I saw someone on a video say that George Martin said they answered correctly. So that could have been just him messing with them and going, "Yeah, idiots," because the correct answer was the wrong answer. But I don't know. Now that you say it, well, but how could John be the Targaryen? That would mean that he is the true king of everything. He's the one that just deserves to be the king. So how could they end up with Bran on the throne?
Well, I mean, we saw how they laid it out in this, like in obviously in Game of Thrones, which is like the dumbest way ever. But it would not surprise me at all for George to pull something like that out. That it's not, hey, it's not going to be the passed down heir to the throne. It's going to be someone who's a cripple, someone who can't even have kids after this, someone who won't have a lineage, right? Truly, like break that, subvert and break that cycle. Like that's a super George thing to do, I think.
Yeah. But then he sucks because, as you said, he can't have an heir. So then we're going to have another civil war. So what's the point? Unless that's the point.
I guess we'll find out if he ever releases the books, but
Yeah, the bastard. Yeah, because,
yeah.
gosh, now my brain's exploding with all these things. Oh, yes, everyone. Yeah, see, some of these I haven't read this. I'm only still on the Storm of Swords because I stopped when he said he was gonna have the book come out, When's Winter in 2020. So I was trying to catch up, and then the bastard's like, "Oh, no, never mind," and I'm like, "Well, then screw you." And so I finally decided to start doing it. Yeah, Bran is a villain, so I
Well,
kinda get that idea.
they're trying to turn him into that. Um, well, they're trying to turn him into someone he's not, right?
Mhm.
And turn him into what they want him to be. It's probably like he didn't know he was eating Jojen. I mean, probably didn't know he was eating Jojen.
Yeah. Gosh, that's some dark stuff right there. Yeah, and there's been lots of theories, yes, about, like, Ragnarok, so maybe it is, yeah, it's all supposed to go straight to hell, but wow. We opened up a can of worms for the chat here, and it's like, well, yeah, no, these are great discussions,
Like
and
I think um obviously, I think that the books are going to end significantly differently. I don't think that they're just going to take care of things and they're just going to take care of things in the north and then come down and like have the other fight. I don't think that's really going to I don't think that's going to be how it plays out, but obviously all we can go off is what they did in the show, which who knows how different that will or will not be from any books we theoretically get. I don't know.
yeah. Well, and I hate to go dark, but the man is not young. He's gonna be 80 soon and not perhaps in the best of health unless he's getting one of those weird blood transfusions I've been hearing that Hollywood's been doing. I don't know, getting plasma. I I just don't know if he's gonna be around with us. It's crazy. Oh dear. Well, as far as fantasy goes, I've of course been enjoying books, various different fantasy books, and I'm about to finish 25 book series of The Magician. So that's one that's coming up that's gonna be adapted and hopefully not destroyed, but since it's by the Lucasfilm storybook, but Raymond Feist's Magician, I would highly recommend that series if you, haven't read it already, because it's really, really good stuff, and so maybe we just need to go backwards too.
Mm, good point.
Yeah. That and Dragonlance, etc. Well, we are about ready to go into our roll 7 portion, but before we do, is there anything else you want to get off your chest before we go into the pub crawl game?
Um, nah, I saw Dune Part 2. I really liked it. There's some significant changes with Chani's character, and I didn't have too much of a problem with it to the very last frame of the movie, basically. Mostly just because it makes me question what they're going to do with the next one. But overall, as a movie, I highly recommend everybody go see it in the theaters because it's quite a spectacle.
Okay, did you get that special popcorn box?
I did. I got the special popcorn bucket. It's still unused. Can confirm.
Oh, okay, because part of me was like, was it as good as they say?
Listen, It could be if you wanted it to be.
Yeah. Not for women, but oh well. Okay, so I'll tell you, ever since I've been hanging out with all of you all, I have learned so many things. You know, I didn't even know what a fleshlight was.
So what made you discover this?
Never mind. But well, that's what they were saying about that Dune thing. That
Okay.
that it would be used like that, and I'm like, huh, okay. You know, Urban Dictionary has been my friend these past 5 years. So,
Mm. Well, you're
um,
getting an education online.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's
there
good.
we
That's good, Teresa.
speaking of an education, Steegs dropped you a cool link in your DMs. I think you'll enjoy it. I don't know how should Ryan take that.
Well, this is about Game of Thrones, so we're good.
Okay, because I was gonna say that's how rumors get started, Steeg. Oh, yes, that's true. I am responsible for my own corruption. Yes, everyone's going off on the bucket.
I
Okay,
think one of
well,
the things that's crazy about A Song of Ice and Fire is because it's taken so long to get these books out, it's
mhm,
given the fan base such a long time to come up with theories. You know what I mean? To try to
yeah.
like dig into every little bit and go this way and that way. So it's kind of like because it's taken so long, we've gotten a lot of that. But at the same time, because it's taken so long, now people have gone like crazy with it. So this is comparing it to Ragnarok and kind of the Norse mythology symbols of it. That's what Steeg sent me. So it's cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, I'm all in favor of it all going straight to hell in a handbasket, but and in a good way, not in the bad way. All right. Well, this is most excellent. Well, those of you that have been watching Pub Crawl before, you know what's coming up with this roll 7. We have 20 questions and I roll a d20 7 times. You all in the chat can participate. Oh my gosh, the chat. You guys are great. I'm not reading aloud some of these, but they are pretty funny. So let's start. Ryan, what's the most annoying question you've been asked?
The most annoying question I've been asked. What is the 199? That's the most annoying question I've been asked, which is a meme that Jeremy made up that stemmed from a meme that happened on our stream where somebody made a typo in chat where they meant to type 1999. They typed 199. And I thought it was just a funny little moment. And it turned into a massive meme for the geeks and gamers chat out there. And I hate having to explain that. That's the most annoying question I get asked.
Okay. Well, and of course, the chat is following suit. Well, then I will not do that to you because I am nice to my to my guests. Okay, so that is the most annoying question for Ryan Kinnell. And roll number 2. What would you do with $1,000,000?
$1,000,000, I would pay off any outstanding debt I have. Um, I would get I would get one decent car, like not crazy, but like I'd spend like 40 or 50 grand, buy a nice car, um, pay off my house, and then I'd put the rest in savings. Nothing I would do nothing fancy or crazy with it.
Okay, well, you'd be very responsible. Yeah,
I
my
would.
favorite.
That's such a boring thing. So yeah, but that's what I would do.
No, well, no, that's a very good thing and a very responsible one. My favorite answer was someone said, "Who am I kidding? I just use it all in cocaine." So it's like, oh, okay.
And ooh.
It's an honest answer. It's like, well, there you go. What fictional character do you wish were real?
Mm, what fictional character? I mean, it'd have to be Luke Skywalker, right? Because that would
Mhm.
mean that Star Wars is real, the Force is real, and all that stuff.
Oh,
Now that would also, I guess, that would technically mean maybe Disney Star Wars. So maybe if I can if it's my fantasy, I can put a cap on that. But
yes.
yes, 100%, 100%. Give me Luke Skywalker.
Yay. Well, we all love real Luke Skywalker, and the one that marries Mara Jade. That's the one, and becomes the Jedi Master. What's the most immature thing you do?
The most immature thing I do. I don't know, sit in front of my computer all day. Like that's kind of immature, right? I sit in
Yeah.
front of a computer all day for work and talk about like comic book characters and it's like Star Wars movies or whatever. I feel like my entire existence would be like viewed as immature by some people. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Some people think it's immature to like have toys in your background or whatever. So yeah, my entire existence is immature.
Yeah, that's a good answer because I'm looking around and I've got like I've got a lot of action figures and dolls and things in my area too. Yeah, still watch cartoons. Farting is a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of.
I do play a Harry Potter mobile game. That's pretty immature. So yeah.
Oh, oh, I do too. I play the Hogwarts.
Hogwarts
Miss.
Mystery?
Yeah,
Yes, me too.
yeah, and it's so pointless.
It's so dumb, but I can't stop.
I've been playing it since 2019 and I haven't gotten to the end of it yet.
I'm on year 3, so
Genie Mac, yeah, it just takes forever to get through, and it's doing it on purpose because 'cause they're trying to
they
get
want you to
you
pay for it.
exactly, and I'm like, "Screw you, I'm not." Alright. Well, what is the most annoying habit other people have?
Ooh.
Those one
Being wrong. That's really like the only thing I care about. I don't really care if you grind your teeth or bite your nails or make a weird noise. That none of that stuff bothers me. All the the only thing that bothers me about other people is when they're wrong. That's
Okay.
it. That's the most annoying thing someone else can do.
Yeah. I would add to that for me, willingly wrong. Like anyone can make a mistake. Anyone can be wrong. Anyone can have like the bad information, but once they know they're wrong and they still insist on being wrong. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Asking me to explain something while I'm explaining something. Driving 10 below the speed limit. Ryan can never be wrong. Oh man, sucking up here. Ryan loves it when you buy lottery tickets. Oh,
Well, I don't
that
care if you buy lottery tickets, just don't do it in front of me when I'm like when I have somewhere to go and you're taking 10 minutes for your freaking scratch offs just so you can throw away your money on your poor person tax. Like that's the only thing that drives me nuts about lottery tickets. Is only when people are buying it in front of me in line.
Oh, I agree with you, and all you wanna do you're at a gas station, you're just trying to get a Diet Coke, and it's like, "Damn it, I just wanna pay for this and leave." Loud chewing, oh, hello. So, I'm just not gonna go there. Alright, we have what would you do if you were the only human on Earth?
I mean, I guess I'd masturbate a lot. Um, if I was the only human on Earth, that would
Well, that
that's the first thing that comes to mind.
very
Um,
practical.
other than that, I guess I would stop making videos because there'd be no one to watch them. And I'd
Mm.
play a lot of video games and I'd read.
Oh,
What else would I
yes.
do? Like, there's no other humans to interact with. All the animals are still alive. I guess I'd get some dogs or something.
Yeah. I'd like make my own zoo. Yeah. Oh, animals. We love animals here at Miss Martin Music. A very Ryan answer. Yeah, Steve goes, I would host my first live stream. Yeah, that would be about perfect. Yes. No, we're all happy people here. Would you do that to Brie Larson's photo? What's all this with Brie
Of
Larson?
course.
Oh,
Well, listen, me and Bree have had a kind of a whirlwind romance over the past couple of years. She, she liked one of my tweets. Well, I didn't even tag her. She was probably just checking my profile and saw that I had tweeted something nice about her, so she liked it. And ever since then, she's been on kind of a redemption arc, talking about how she doesn't want to be with Marvel anymore and things like that. So I'm all Team Bree.
wow. Well, that's pretty amazing. I'm glad that you have that part in your life. I guess I'm just blown away. I happen to think that she's rather pretty. I don't think
Oh, I
except for
think
her
she's
feet.
really hot. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't really care about someone's feet. You can wear socks. It's fine. Like
Okay, there you go.
that's the least important thing to me in history. So
Yeah. Well, that's what I've always thought about Brie Larson. Maybe sometimes people may think she's obnoxious, but when they're saying she's not pretty, it's like, oh, come on.
I know. Have
All
you
of
seen her in some of these dresses? Yeah, she looks really good. And
yeah,
uh and listen, I don't need to look at your feet if they're on my shoulders, right? That's kind of like my thought process. So it'll be okay. We'll get over that together.
wow. Well, you heard it here first on Miss Martin Muses. Whoa. And was that the last one? I think we have one more. Let's see. I'm speechless. If you could travel back in time, when would you go to and why?
Ooh. That's uh I guess I'd probably just go back to like the 20s or 30s.
Hmm.
Um I guess I'd probably want to go before the Great Depression.
Yeah.
But like that era in the roaring 20s, you know what I mean, in America, feels like everybody was having a good time, you know? I guess
Yeah.
that's where I don't know if I would want to go so far back into like ancient times. If you told me I was just kind of like a fly on the wall and could see some stuff, then that would be cool. But if I actually had to like live, I don't think I'd want to go live in ancient Greece or Rome or something.
Yeah, that would suck. You
Now,
want to be
if it was like the Pensieve and Harry Potter, I could just kind of like dive in there, hang out, see what's going on, and watch people. Yeah, maybe I'll go back like ancient times, but
Oh, that's a good that would be fine. Yeah. You want to be where there's plumbing. That's just all I
yes,
got to say. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
You want flushing toilets. Yeah, the 90s were great. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking a Great Gatsby kind of thing, like every night having a big party like that.
That feels
And
like the 20s, right? That's like
yeah, swing
think,
dancing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you'd be so rich that prohibition wouldn't matter. You'd just have all your own liquor and
Mhm. Hell yes.
you work for the mob. But I digress. Okay, well, that is the end of our D20, and we are at the 1 hour mark. Well, I want to tell you, thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on my channel. It is so good to talk with you and just yap about all sorts of crazy stuff. And can you tell people where we can find you?
Yeah, you can go search Ryan KINEL or RK Outpost. Once you scroll through a couple hate videos, you'll probably find my channel. So I do, daily videos on my main channel. I also do a daily show on Geeks and Gamers called G&G Daily. We do that at 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. I'm on a show called Friday Night Tights, which is actually on Friday afternoon at 4 Eastern on Gary from Nerdrotics channel. And I host a channel called Sports Wars for Geeks and Gamers. So if you like talking about sports, you can find me over there.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. And many of the links have been coming in. And you can find me here on Miss Smart Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. I'm almost up to that magic 1,000 and just need a few hundred watch hours. So if y'all wouldn't mind giving me a little bit of flower power love there. And yeah, you can find Ryan everywhere. That is true. That is definitely true. And of course, I want to say thank you to the chat. You all are marvelous. I wouldn't be anywhere without you. You are just as important to me as anyone in the world right now. And if there's even one person that can maybe get some entertainment out of this, or we maybe made you smile or made your day better, well, then we've done our job. So I hope you all have a great time and that you enjoyed yourself.
Yep. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to pick up your special popcorn box and don't be. I don't know. I can't give good advice. I'm trying to be certain to read the Magician series and maybe rewatch House of the Dragon. That's a good thing to do. Good night.
There you go.